This year's Halloween sucked.
You didn't even try! Wow, that was fun!
However, I think it's getting a bit too late.
There's still so much houses we haven't visited yet! Oh, what about that one? Trick or treat!
And the pumpkin rabbit. Wow.
Starving.
I'm steering with these watermen.
What a goofus. The Walton Files is an analog horror series created by Martin Walls on the hit website youtube.com. The series is about the fictional restaurant known as Bond's Burgers. But we aren't here to talk about the main series. We're here to talk about Mysterious House and its sequel that at the time of recording came out like 8 days ago, The Return of the Pumpkin Rabbit. Let's start with the first episode. Mysterious House. This episode starts with two children, Tammy and Ducky. Tammy's a moron, and Ducky is kinda smart, but still absolutely a dumbass. Tammy also has the cat who looks like a different animal syndrome, so let's add her to that list. Tammy and Ducky are trick-or-treating while the moon from Majora's Mask watches in the background. Tammy and Ducky are arguing about who gets to buy the Skibidi Toilet Walmart figure. Tammy de-escalates by telling Ducky that they can both purchase one. Then it cuts to an image of Johnny Bear. But that's a stupid name. It cuts back to Tammy and Ducky talking about how it's getting late and they should go home. But Tammy wants to go trick-or-treating and chooses the worst house imaginable for this. Have you watched any horror movie ever? Tammy and Ducky knock on the door of the crack house and only met by anyway. The witch meets them at the door and talks about how the kids should come inside the house. You get introduced to TVA, Billy the Clown, and the Pumpkin. They get candy that probably has something in it, and TVA takes a picture of them. Pumpkin Rabbit talks about how they take pictures of every kid who comes by on Halloween. That totally isn't the activities of Pauline Ballinger. Ducky talks about how it's getting late and he needs to take a massive shit, so he suggests going home. The Pumpkin Man interrupts him and suggests they sleep at the house.
I have an idea. Why don't you two stay here for the night?
I get that this was the 70s, but not even 70s kids were stupid enough to fall for that. But these kids do, because they have the smallest brains known to man. I'm pretty sure a koala is smarter than them. They sleep in the house. I wish I could sleep that soundly, like even in my own house. But Ducky wakes up and leaves the room for whatever reason. Tammy then hears Ducky just calmly saying her name, so she gets up. Also, Mr. Pumpkin Spice was in the doorway, so he's probably watching these two kids sleep. Anyway, she sees the stupid muscle man clown. She's probably like, why are you here and crap? William the Clown does not respond, and he just stands there. So Tammy leaves and goes down the hallway that looks like what I would expect a hallway in J.K. Rowling's home to look like. Tammy goes down the hallway with the Shaw reskin following her. She looks at a few rooms and sees nothing new, just creepy photos. Then she goes in the last door and sees Ducky! He looks like he drank an ounce of a McDonald's Sprite. There are also a bunch of other kids who looked at his DeviantArt account, and our old pal Spring Bunny is also there. And he ain't happy in the slightest. He keeps talking about how Tammy is a naughty child. My God, you sound like a Minecraft YouTuber. But anyway, the thigh-size competition winner kills Tammy, and that's in a mysterious house. Overall, a very wholesome family story. This is an amazing video. It's great at building dread and plays on your hope for the kids to escape, only to tear it away when you see what Ducky and Tammy have become. But these kids also did have a few chances to escape. Their innocence caused them to fall deeper in a Pumpkin Rabbit's trap, and these kids just end up dying. But anyway, our old pal returned 4 years later, in 2024. We saw things that are far different than we thought. The video starts with some generic 80s movie horror stuff in spooky font. This video is less presented as a cartoon or PSA and more as an actual type of event, even though this isn't canon. This story starts with two kids walking up a hill to the Pumpkin Rabbit's house, known as the Waterman House, which has been abandoned due to waterman deaths. Fun fact that probably everyone who watched the video knew, other than me, their deaths are a reference to Freddy Krueger, but the kids who are climbing up the hill are named Paco, Ralph, Dino, and Jay. Ralph, being at least somewhat intelligent, doesn't want to go outside and just stays out front. The rest of the kids go into the house and wander around for like 10 seconds. For the TV in the next room turns on. Kids peek in and see Rachel Waterman. Oh yeah, wait, I'm gonna call them by their actual names for this. Just remember, Witch Sheep is Rachel and Pumpkin Rabbit is Lorenzo. Also, Dino steals a book from the chair, and then Rachel pulls the Dora move of asking for the kids' names and then interrupting them to go on a different tangent. He says there's candy in the kitchen, and they can get it for her. Meanwhile, Ralph is outside playing with a ball, and he accidentally kicks it behind the house and runs after it into the pumpkin patch. He walks into the pumpkin patch looking for the ball, and then he sees Lorenzo holding it.
Can I have it back, please?
Of course. Here.
Ralph runs away like any actually intelligent kid would. Apparently this kid's like, according to the Walton Files wiki, like 5 or something. How is he this smart at 5? I would have ran into this doofus arms with a no hesitation for that ball. But Lorenzo gives chase. Ralph sees it, Tammy, the Scarecrow DLC, and then basically just runs past her. But then he gets his foot stuck in a pumpkin. Does God just not want this child alive? Lorenzo finally catches up to Ralph and gives him the Bridge Worm special. Jay overhears this and hides in a cupboard. Meanwhile, it cuts to Paco following... Holy crap, is that Ducky? But he looks a bit less than alive. But he's still walking around, so, you know, that probably means he's okay. Paco keeps following Ducky till they enter a room. He walks inside, and Ducky shuts the door while saying,
Mr. and Mrs. Waterman were very, very bad people. No!
Paco begs Ducky to let him out, till Rachel starts singing Hush Little Baby. Paco turns around and accidentally breaks the Banny clock from the first video. Rachel stops singing and grabs the broken clock and drags it into the darkness. Paco turns on a lamp and oh god, that is... she looks terrifying. Unfortunately, though, Paco's death is an off-screen kill. I wish Rachel's kills were treated like Lorenzo's. Meanwhile, Jay is still in the cupboard. Paco comes by and tells her to come out. Jay doesn't come out, so the cupboard opens and... Who is that Pokemon? Is it A, Ralph, B, Tammy, C, I don't know, Brian Stells or something, D, Duck Guy from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, or E, Pumpkin Man. That's right, it was D. I'm just kidding, it's E. Anyway, Lorenzo laughs and tries to grab Jay by like the foot or something, but she escapes the cupboard and runs into the basement with Dino. As in, she bumps into Dino and they undertale down the stairs. While looking back at the basement, we'll look down at the evil hallway from the mysterious house. Well, the entire house is from Mysterious House, but we've seen this location before. They go down the hall and make it to the murder room. Jay goes up to a grate and tries to push it. She falls and slips, and I don't think you can turn on a light bulb by just like bumping into it. But anyway, instead of just dead children, it's mannequins with the kids' costumes. Dino peeks out and sees Lorenzo repeating the funny Ducky line.
Mr. and Mrs. Waterman were very, very, very bad people.
Lorenzo says some spooky stuff and also breaks into the room. Rachel just kind of teleports behind Jay to hold her in place while Lorenzo tries to give Dino another bridge worm special. But Jay breaks free from Longhorse's grip and pushes off Lorenzo's mask, so he stops urban spooking Dino and tries to tell Jay to give him the book she has. She doesn't. Lorenzo tries to convince her again, but she just lights the book on fire. Lorenzo and Rachel start to scream as the mannequins turn into real dead children, start Nikocado avocadoing at Rachel and Lorenzo. Once the mukbang is over, Jay's dad just appears and yells at them because they're in the home of two dead murderers. Jay looks back and sees a rabbit mannequin and a sheep mannequin. Jay's dad explains the whole Waterman family situation as Dino and Jay are getting driven home. And also, Paco and Ralph are in the bushes on the side of the road. They look alive and well, but they're probably dead. And that was the end of Turn of the Pumpkin Rabbit. Honestly, it's even better than Mysterious House. It's now going to be a tradition for me to watch these two videos every Halloween. And now it's time for Random's Random Thoughts. Tammy's story in Mysterious House weirdly mirrors that of the character in main series Walton Files, Ashley Parks. And hear me on this. Ashley wakes up in the middle of the night, goes down a spooky hallway, sees something she wasn't supposed to, and finally meets her end at the hands of Bond. Also, a far, far looser connection is that both Tammy and Ashley look somewhat similar deceased, as in they lost both their eyes, and it's also implied that Tammy was decapitated like a French noble or something. But that is according to the Walton Files wiki. And Ashley appears to just kind of like have bits of her head missing. Also, Lorenzo and Rachel seem to have a shuffled William Afton story. As in, they kidnap children, then they burn alive, then they come back, but then they get attacked by the souls of their victims. Also, Lorenzo's original design is too similar not to be at least a nod to Spring Bonnie. This video also seems weirdly religious. Like when Rachel is first introduced, she seems to be watching some sermon on TV, and when the two surviving kids are in the basement, they have to loop the funny Ray William Johnson song. And then the burning scene from the beginning of the video, where it shows that, well, Rachel and Lorenzo are dead. They didn't just retcon the designs or something. Those, you could see that is original Pumpkin Rabbit Man and original Witch Sheep. Anyway, that's all from your friendly neighborhood dumbass. See ya, and come back next time and see if I can survive 100 days inside the K9 facility. See ya, goofuses! She looks in a few rooms, sees nothing room, just ugh,